I normally chase guests down the road. I'm like, hey, I'm over here.
What, when they're trying to leave?
Rolling.
Yeah, totally, when they're trying to leave. So rolling. And hello and welcome to the Pagey train. Today I have with me Krystyna Pollard, journalist and fun person extraordinaire. Welcome to the show.
What an introduction. Fun person extraordinaire. I love
Absolutely.
it. That's fantastic. Thank you.
You're one of the best people I've ever worked with, just hands down. Let's just get that out there.
Okay, well, let's not mention that payment I just made.
It was in a brown paper bag and it was in $20 non-sequential bills.
Uncirculated $5 notes, I think you'll find. But anyway.
Yeah, well, that's fine. I think they were old $5 notes and they may have been on paper.
Really, really old ones. And in fact, they had Scooby-Doos on them. I hate to tell you, but they're not real.
They're not real? No. Oh, well, no wonder.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. Well, but anywho, Krystyna and I used to work together at Television Sydney.
Did good times.
You were the talent and I was the guy that used to hang around.
Oh, look, we were all the talent, I think, there. I think it was such a great team that we had at TBS.
It was, wasn't it?
Fantastic team. Everybody so friendly, so professional, and so much fun.
Yeah, and I think it was really diverse. It was really diverse content.
It was. Yeah, it really was diverse content. And, you know, to be honest with you, people really appreciated it.
Mm.
You know, from Move It or Lose It.
Yeah.
Oh, how good was that? I mean, that's a great idea. That is a fantastic idea, particularly for an ageing population.
I think, it certainly worked at its time. But then they had that Peter Wetherill content as well. You remember that? It was children's content where they talked about science.
Yep.
Yeah, that was
Joy's World.
Yeah, how can you go past Joy's World?
Can't go past Joy's World.
Oh, look, I must say, when it comes to Joy's World, for those of you who are out there in podcast land, community TV is very well known for Joy's World.
Yes.
Joy was on TV for, 30 years?
It was a long time.
30 years, yeah. She did so many things. She was absolutely fantastic for community TV and definitely an icon. But when her show used to start, I must say, every time it came on, I'd always think, Joy's World! Joy's World!
Excellent.
Party time! Excellent!
Which is, of course, what we were all doing in the office.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, I know I was. I don't know what you were doing.
Yeah, well, I was attempting to work sometimes between having a lot of fun.
Oh, please. I don't believe that for a second. No, it was really fun. I think that it filled a space that needed to be filled.
Yeah, well, I heard one person described it really well to me. They said it's like a one day the week cable channel.
No, absolutely. And you know, the good thing about it is that people could make the content. It was, you know, and it would address niche markets, you know, and there was an audience for everything. You know,
totally.
And like you always said, and you said, I believe you told me this, content is king.
Yes, content is king. If you got the content, it all works.
That's exactly right. And it really did work. Like, I miss it. I do miss it.
Yeah, and I miss the people as well.
Yes.
Like, I was really bummed out when the government came out and said there's only 55 people working in this industry. Well, I dare say I knew 40 producers alone that were working independently, gaining their own advertisements as well. So they would have their sponsors, you know, depending on what
absolutely.
show. Like, if you look at the car racing guys,
yes,
that was easier. I wouldn't say easy, but there was more of an opportunity to grab sponsorship because, you know, you've got oil companies, you've got people that have got some money behind racing.
But also, I think, specialised type of sponsors. You know, if you have people who are doing a specialised type of racing and, you know, they might be just getting in on the entry level, you know, they're watching this and then they're kind of like, oh, well, you know, I want to do this, where do I start? Well, then, you know.
Well, most of them were local, actually.
That's right.
Now that you bring that up, like, most of them were local. Like, you know, for some of those racing shows, they'd be going to Eastern Creek.
Yeah.
And that content's getting around Australia through, you know, the sister companies of Television Sydney. You know, you got Channel 31 Melbourne.
Yeah. Who are very successful down there.
Yeah, well, I think I was always envious of them. Look, the envy that I have of you, Channel 31, if, you know, perhaps, you know, you got some space for my podcast on your channel, who knows?
Oh, they surely would.
Yeah, surely.
surely
I know we're Western Sydney tailored.
Channel 31, come on.
Come on.
Jump on the page.
But look, I was jealous of you guys, and the reason I was jealous of them was they had a drama department where they were making, like, you know, art for the sake of art. Like, it wasn't just about, it didn't have an entire commercial interest. It was about, well, let's see what we can do. And they had the funding and the backing from the government to do that, or, you know, basically through their business model. I think they had a stronger business model than what TVS had.
Yeah, well, they did. And I think, though, the other good thing about TVS was its location, the fact that it was in Western Sydney, where there was a huge pool of talent.
Yeah.
Let's face it. You know,
absolutely.
there's a lot of talented people out here. And also the fact that you could take in students. They would get, you know, a go. They'd be able to see how things worked, you know, and have a go at everything. You didn't have to do one thing. You could have a go at, you know, news producing. You'd have a go at, you know,
you could sample it. You could sample it and actually get some work behind you as well.
Really good.
Look, I've got to put one good feather I have in my cap actually is the interns that I have. They all ended up in the industry.
Oh, that's
all of my
great.
interns. I think I had about 9 through the history of it. And you guys know who you are. And then when you see me, you owe me a beer, by the way.
And me too, just because I used to work there.
Yeah, if I'm hanging out with Krystyna, you owe us both a beer.
That's right.
Because it's hard to get a leg up. And I think and TVS was definitely that entry gateway to, you know, the broader media community.
And
Absolutely.
I mean, it was for a lot of things too. The time that I spent there news producing, we worked with Fairfax, worked with a lot of Fairfax journalists, and
that was a cool gig.
It was really good. So it was a great for both of us. You know, they got the experience of writing for broadcast, which is a completely different beast.
Yeah, totally, from print media.
Yeah, that's right. And it gave them a bit of experience doing that. And it gave us some great content because obviously Fairfax had fantastic content.
Yeah, well, we had it was a content exchange.
Yeah, it was.
And it was a good relationship.
It was fantastic.
Yeah, and I actually miss having those meetings because remember we'd have those meetings we had that meeting room that I eventually turned into my office.
Yes.
But some certain boss took it away from me at one point.
I seem to remember your office was painted black.
Oh, that's when I got kicked out of my cool office and I got sent to this other office that wasn't so cool, but then I made it cool.
It was pretty cool. It was dungeon-like.
Yeah, and I had a couch in there.
Yeah, you did have a couch. It seems to be wherever you are, there are couches.
Yeah, I do have...
You have a magnificent couch. Have you talked about your couch?
No, I've never actually talked about the couch. If you see it, it's in the background.
You need to know about Ross's couch. His couch is just a big square.
Yeah, it's called the Emperor. It's called the Emperor.
It is, and it's about the size of Antarctica.
Yeah, well, it's better than Antarctica because it doesn't melt.
Yeah, exactly. It's like bits of it don't break off.
It'll probably be around for longer. Yeah,
I think so. Yes, I think so, and probably a little bit more comfortable than blizzard conditions.
Oh, look, I do have the aircon very cold, so it can feel like Antarctica.
You know what, guys do that though.
We run hot though.
What do you mean you run hot? I don't understand it. I walk into an office where there's a lot of males, and I don't mean any disrespect, but this is what you guys do.
It's just an observation.
It's an observation. And you walk into an office where there are a lot of men, and the aircon will be cranking.
Yeah.
Like super cold. Like every woman in the place has blue toes and can't speak.
Well, look, I've done a lot of facility work in my days, right?
Facility work?
Yeah, like running buildings. Right? So currently there's a couple of buildings in the city that I run for day work, right?
But this is just boasting now.
Yeah.
this is just outright boasting. I have a massive couch and I run several buildings.
Well, no. Well, I guess my point is running those buildings, you talk about air conditioning.
Yes.
And most of the women in the building always want it a little bit warmer. And all the dudes want it cooler. And the thing that I don't have any evidence to back this up whatsoever, totally anecdotal.
But that's what I love. Okay, so, why let facts get in the way of a good story?
Well, these are alternative facts. Like, being from a journalistic background, you can understand about alternative facts.
Alternative facts versus fake news.
Oh, what's the difference? There's a difference between the two?
This is alternative facts. Okay, so go. This is really not making much sense now, but yeah, carry on.
It doesn't need to. We digress. Wow.
But we digress. Okay, so we've talked about your couch.
Oh, that's right. Well, look, you need a comfortable couch.
Yes.
If you have a comfortable couch, people have nicknamed it the vortex.
I can vouch for it being a bit of a vortex.
Yeah.
Like, if you find yourself, asleep on the massive king of all couches.
The emperor, It's the emperor of all couches.
I have to remember that. The emperor of all couches. And all of a sudden, it's 4 o'clock in the morning.
That's a generous time. The sun hasn't come up yet.
You don't know where you are. You don't know why you're on such a massive couch.
No.
What is this DVD that's playing? This was back in the DVD days.
Well, now we've got like Netflix and Stan. I just have things streaming. But the thing is that it cuts off and I end up with a blue screen of death at the end of the night. So people are like, blue screen.
Wow, why is everything blue? Yeah.
Well,
I can understand.
My lounge room has been a scene from like Gone with the Wind. You know, where
Really?
yeah, you know that scene where all the wounded soldiers are through the battlefield and they're like.
Can I confess
they're
I've never watched Gone with the Wind?
You've never watched Gone with the Wind?
No.
Wow.
I'm trying to think of a movie I have watched
That is of that
would
ilk?
well, no, that would describe your lounge room scenes.
Oh.
And really, there's some unusual movies going through my head right now.
Oh, gosh.
Hellraiser, perhaps.
Hellraiser, that's a possibility.
Yeah. You know, that kind of thing. Chainsaw Massacre.
Well, a lot of people used to say that they thought I lived in a cave. Because I'm a bit of a crazy person sometimes. I do eccentric things.
Yes. It is sort of a cave. It's like the ultimate creative man cave. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
The couch as the vortex.
It's the vortex. It is the epicenter.
It's the epicenter.
Yeah.
It's the emperor epicenter.
The emperor epicenter
That's
of what
exactly
is Ross's
right.
personality.
That's it's fantastic. It's fantastic. You can't. Yeah, this place is just great.
Well, when everyone like I've had a few guests this year, and every time a guest comes in, they have this look when they sit in the chair and they go. Yeah. And I go, you're thinking about the room, aren't you? And they go, yeah, I'm thinking about the room. And I'm like, it's just an evolution of my teenage bedroom. There's always been a couch, always been a TV, and there's always been a computer.
All right, but are there any like stinky towels or anything around? You know,
yeah. The whole place is a floor drobe. Don't get me wrong. The whole place can be a floor drobe.
Yeah.
Like I think when I get to the point where I'm sitting around ash, it's time to vacuum.
I can't live like that.
Oh no! Look, I go to extremes. But I do.
That
try
is
to
so
keep,
you. That is very.
I do
you.
try to keep it neat and tidy, though.
Listen, I've got to commend you on the state of the room tonight. I think it's looking fantastic.
Well, I did tidy up before he showed up.
Did you?
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
Oh, hey, look, Misty's removed a bin. Like, there used to be a bin full of rubbish there.
She actually just left the room with it earlier, and I must say.
Oh, did you see her do it?
I did.
Oh wow.
She did it. She did it with precision.
Yeah.
And fabulous hair.
Fantastic hair. You're making me blush now.
Honestly, no, I really liked when you said fantastic hair. I was like, she does have great hair.
She does.
Her hair
it is noteworthy.
A masterpiece of God.
Yeah, well, she's always asking, like, oh, what should I do with me? I'm like, make it bigger. Make it bigger.
Just bigger.
Bigger
And bigger. Yeah. Oh, it's fantastic.
Like, but it gets hot
your
in the
hair,
summer.
I've got to say, your hair is very impressive as well. I mean, I think last time I saw you had a shaved head.
I did have a shaved head, but I think this is my third ponytail in my life, maybe fourth.
Maybe you grew a ponytail when I knew you. Actually,
Yeah, I did.
There was a stage where you had the ponytail and the goatee.
Yeah, I was post-military, like,
Jesus.
Yeah,
I think is the word you're looking for.
Jesus.
Yeah, a little bit.
Granola.
Granola.
Poncho wearing, hadn't had a shower in a week, a long beard.
I just thought Jesus. I honestly did.
Jesus was like that, surely.
I don't know whether he wore ponchos.
I don't think he sung heavy metal, though.
He definitely wasn't like.
Well, that's what I was doing at the time. Like,
Yes.
I'm in a heavy band now, but the band that I was in at that time was like fucking heavy, man.
Yeah, well, it was heavy.
Yeah.
It was very heavy. It was enjoyable.
Hey, are you going to come to my show coming up?
Yes, now I have to because I know that I say all the time, I'm a chronic promiser. So I promise things and then I double book.
Yeah,
or I triple book or I quadruple book.
I understand the triple
Or
book.
whatever
I really
else
do.
comes after.
I think that's why we get along, because we both overbook.
Oh, all
Maybe
the
that's
time.
how-
I go, yeah, I'll definitely be there. And
Always
you
got
go,
time. Always got time.
Yeah. No.
Plus, you
have to-
never have time.
You
never have time.
You are the person who got me into King Parrot.
Oh, man. How good a King
Love
Parrot.
King Parrot.
How good a King Parrot.
I've been watching you drink your beer there, and I really need to talk about King Parrot while I.
Well, you were lucky that I got to catch up with a friend at the pub before the podcast, so I managed to get a few down range before I showed up.
I, however, have turned up completely sober because I was really scared about slurring.
But I don't even know you anymore. Normally when we would show up somewhere, like, yeah, I've had a couple of pints,
Yeah, but it's as I found out in broadcast, when people are relying to listen to you enunciate.
Enunciate.
Yes. It's quite difficult after a few...
Yeah, but I think the podcast is a bit different. Like, I think the podcast, you get a lot of forgiveness.
Well, it's more casual.
It's more casual, and it's a bit more down to earth.
Is there any way we can have a close-up of that badly poured beer?
I think I've got it. Here we go.
Look at that.
I've got to pour it under the table. I can't show the brands. I can't do it up here. Maybe if I get an alcohol sponsorship, I'll take that on. I'm not adverse to that.
I will pour stuff for an alcohol sponsorship.
Yeah, alcohol sponsorships. If you're out there, if you want to,
are we allowed to ask for an alcohol sponsorship?
Well, I don't know. Is that? It's the internet. It's
the internet. Who cares? People do loads of stuff on the internet.
Oh, Jesus.
I mean, really.
Especially the piff guy. There's even a piff guy on there. A
piff guy. It's. I just want to watch you. Do you want a spoon?
No. I've got this.
Right.
Yeah. I'm all over it.
So I had this discussion.
I'm all over it like dots on dice.
I've not heard that before. I actually had this discussion.
I knew that because I've had so many things that I say to you all the time. You're you got to find you're a difficult angle because you just know everything.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, just ask me.
Yeah.
Just do you know anything? Yeah. Yeah, I do.
Well, I'm the best at bragging. When it comes to bragging, no one does better.
I don't brag so much as just...
And I'm modest.
...rashly overestimate how right I am. So I like to make bets.
Oh, yeah.
So, what I like to do is go, someone will say, oh, well, that's it. Oh, no, it's not. And I know nothing about it. And I've had a drink or two and, particularly sport.
I've got a name for this.
Stupidity.
No, it's called turning turtles over. You see a turtle, you're like, oh, there you go, buddy. Deal with that.
I wouldn't do that. That's mean to turtles.
No, but like if you look at it...
I'm vegetarian, Ross.
But if you look at it conversationally, like you see this conversation going that way, you go, oh, that's nice. Deal with that.
And that, pretty much.
And then, I just got to get a beer, I'll be back.
Yeah, I like to stay for what I like to do is launch a small thermonuclear explosion.
Only small thermonuclear explosion.
Like a thermonuclear explosion.
Like not Trump big, but like Kim Jong-un big.
No, not even Kim Jong-un. I mean, I'd be happy with, a couple of rounds of a 357.
A 357?
Yeah.
Yeah, you change your engine block. Well, it's true. If you shoot a 357 at something, it's likely to pass through one thing and go straight through the engine block.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
Yeah, totally.
Have you tested that?
I've shot a 357, yeah.
Through an engine block?
Well, not through an engine block, but I understand.
Well, I think it depends on the... Well, I know, yes, but I think it depends on the engine block, to be honest.
Yeah, I think
look at my car.
It'd go through the Kingswood.
You still got the Kingswood?
Still got the Kingswood, mate.
Is it registered?
Not registered, but running.
Oh, it runs though. So you go in there, you kick it over, it goes, and you just enjoy it. You enjoy the fumes.
I've got to confess though, I'm thinking about selling the Kingswood.
Not the Kingswood.
Yeah, the Kingswood, dipstick and all.
I don't even know if I know you anymore. I just...
Well, do you want to hear why I want to sell it?
Why?
This is going to blow your mind. Why? I want to sell it for a telescope. Like a big fucking telescope.
Can you do burnouts in a telescope?
No,
can you do donuts in a telescope?
I can do tracking viewing of Jupiter and photograph it.
Well, or you could borrow someone else's and do that.
I don't know anyone with a 16-inch telescope. Do you?
That's what she said.
Yeah. It's not,
maybe I do.
It's not what you target with a telescope. It's how you focus it, people.
Yeah, boom. Oh, no, I don't. I don't know anyone with a 16-inch telescope.
Well, at some point you may.
Well, possibly, very possibly.
But man, we have gotten on some threads here. Threads.
We've gone down a couple of wormholes.
Well, okay, look, you started out as a print journalist, yeah?
I did as a young whippersnapper.
Was that out of uni, or did you start as an apprentice?
It's funny actually. I didn't really know what I wanted to do at school. So I wanted to be, I thought I wanted to be a vet or a barrister.
A barrister? A
barrister. Because, again, thermonuclear thing, you get into a conversation and you just start arguing for the sake of it. And I thought, well...
Yeah, turning turtles.
Yeah. Turn the turtle over. Turn
the turtle.
Flip that turtle.
If you start a company, it needs to have the motto, turn the turtle.
Turn the turtle. I think I might get a tattoo with that on it. Just a turtle upside down.
Yeah, just like...
Just going... Yeah, why not? So yeah, I thought that I might want to do that, and then obviously failed to get the marks for either one of those things. And my mum said, "Well, you know, you're good at English. Why don't you become a journalist?" And I went, "Oh well, okay." Sounds good. You know, I'd won a couple of prizes at school for writing stuff. So I won $50 in year 9.
$50 in year 9?
$50.
That's pretty fucking
50
awesome.
smackaroonies.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I was going around, I was doing these ones.
I've got mates that would call it the Bipty. Yeah, instead of 50, they go, the Bipty. It's true.
It was a fitty.
A fitty.
A fitty.
Yeah, yeah.
So I decided I'd do that, and then I got to uni, and Western Sydney Uni.
Oh no, but it wasn't Western Sydney.
It was University of Western Sydney.
Because I went to, University of Western Sydney.
That is correct.
That's where I went. The flying bookbird.
That blue thing.
Yeah, the flying bookbird.
It was a bookbird.
Yeah, a bookbird.
I didn't know what it was. I didn't really pay. To be honest, I never fit into university. I spent the whole time. And
another reason why we get along. I just didn't fucking fit in, mate.
You know, I had stuff I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And studying wasn't one of them. And, you know, so I spent a lot of energy having time off. So I would put a lot of energy into arranging my timetable so that I would need to turn up to one thing a week. So I was still enrolled.
That's what they call a bare minimum.
It was even worse than that. It wasn't even bare minimum. It was just minimum.
Oh wow!
Not even bare.
It's not even bare.
It was. It
lacks
stripped.
the bare. Yeah, yeah.
It was stripped. It was skeletal.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I can relate to that. I've been in scenarios like that in my life, especially when I was going from high school to adult life. Like, what the fuck? Now?
Well, that's it. And I think that's where I really like to see people who do take a break from school. You know, or maybe come to university later in life when they know what they want to do.
Yeah.
Because I think my big problem was I went from, you know, and lots of kids do it. They just, because their parents go, well, we're going to be doing this, and that's all there is to it. And they go from school into university straight away, and you don't have that break, and you don't get to have fun, and, you know, go and have a year off, or go and do something else, and maybe come back later. Like, there's nothing wrong with that.
Sample a few things.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, you know yourself. You had a career before you had university. You know.
Yeah, well, I think most people take a gap year. I took a gap decade. That's what was required.
Well, I mean, I kind of tend to measure years in decades as well.
Yeah,
you know? That's why I'm only about 3 or 4 years old.
Yeah, well, I was 28 for like 12 years.
I'm 28 now.
Yeah, yeah.
I started heading backwards years ago.
Yeah, well, no, I've been going forwards. I've been telling people I'm 50. They go, you look amazing. Thank you. Thanks.
It's a great idea. Actually, I'm 77.
Yeah. No, 51 next year. I just had my 50th this year. Everyone came around for the party. It was like, yeah, it was a great party, yeah.
Had some great presents.
Yeah.
That is a really good... Why did
I've only just recently started grey hair. It's like, it didn't start to my late 40s, but, you know.
Yeah. I've just recently grown some grey hair. Is it obvious?
Yeah, they're like, you look like you're in your 30s. Like, oh, thank you so much.
That's so
lovely.
Stop it. Come on, stop. So I went to university and didn't actually do journalism at university after all.
I always thought you did journalism.
No, there was a girl I didn't like in the course.
Oh, it's always about a girl.
Yeah, I know. It's chicks. I mean, honestly. So I ended up instead doing professional writing, and I was fortunate enough in the last year at university to have a teacher that I really liked. She was fabulous. She was an American teacher. She'd come over from the University of Michigan to teach.
Okay.
And I adored her. She, you know, I think I'm one of those students that just really rises to the occasion if you have somebody that sparks your imagination.
It's what it takes sometimes.
Yeah.
Someone needs to reach out and go,
yeah,
fire that up.
That's it.
Yeah.
Or you know, just inspire you. And I know that sounds really cheesy.
But it's not, though. I don't think it's cheesy. Like, when someone's inspired me, you go, man, I didn't see it from that perspective. I get it.
Not just that, but I kind of get I don't even get it's not a conscious thought. It's like I kind of feel like a Jack Russell with a waggy tail.
Oh, yeah?
You know, and you just want to leap around and go, oh, my God, you're so unreal. I want to be like you. Like, that's kind of how I don't know, and I just try my best after that. I
so
concentrate.
you mean like from a mentor kind of
Yeah,
perspective.
real mentor. Yeah, and I think that's where I get, like, I really respect people who inspire me to be like that. So this woman did, and I ended up, when I graduated, I won a $500 prize for professional writing.
$500.
That was fantastic. I mean, we're talking poor uni student.
$500 is a lot of money back in that.
I was
back in any
doing.
day.
I was wearing like gold. I dressed like a pimp that day. Like I looked unreal.
Adidas tracksuit.
Yeah.
Cabbie hat.
Yeah. It had a couple of gold teeth.
Gold tooth, gold chain.
Yeah, the whole lot. It was awesome, and I think I might have gone to Panthers actually.
Well, that's how you celebrate, Randy.
See, nobody else understands. If you live in the West, you know how.
Well, back then, I think it was the Vipers nightclub.
I think you'll find it was Reactor 1.
Oh, Reactor 1.
Did you ever go to Reactor 1?
Never been to Reactor 1.
Everybody who went to Reactor 1 knows about Reactor 1. Don't we, kids?
Yeah.
It's where you're going to get a lot of beer spilled on you. There's going to be someone spewing on the dance floor. It was great.
When you see someone spewing on the dance floor, you know that it's proper.
And that's exactly right. And I think we don't have enough of it these days.
Well, look, every time we go out to drinking beer in the city or something like that, or on the main strip somewhere.
So clean.
No, but there's always someone looking for Michelle. Anyone seen Michelle? Oh, you always lost Michelle.
Do you ever pretend to be Michelle?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Hi, it's me.
You're just really drunk. Do you want me to call you an Uber? Yeah. So yeah, I didn't do journalism, and then after I left university, I had like a little part-time job. Well, it was a full-time job with the Department of Education doing teachers' leave. I apologise to all the teachers who just had no idea what I was doing. I'm really sorry. And then their local newspaper were looking for a cadet. And so I went in, and it was, if anyone who's out in the Blue Mountains knows of Mick Ticehurst, who was the owner of the Blue Mountains Gazette.
Okay.
And went in for an interview, and it was my first proper job interview. And so, I've dressed up, I've gone to Vinnie's, I've bought some nice pants.
Yeah. You mixed and matched to get it done.
I'm looking schmick.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking the goods. Well, I'm thinking I'm looking the goods. The jacket was a bit big, and probably someone had died in it, but I mean, it didn't smell. So
well, that's always a.
It's it. I know.
Bonus,
Yeah, that's it. Exactly. Complete bonus. So I've gone in there, and Mick sat me down, and he hasn't looked at me, and he's just got this piece of paper, and he's gone, okay, so you done council rounds? I'm like, nope. Big cross. You done police rounds? Nope. Big cross. And by the time we've gone through 5 crosses, I'm thinking, I really haven't got this. I've really got to turn this around. So he's gone, have you got shorthand? Yeah. Yep. Oh, how many words a minute? Oh, 60.
Yeah.
Yep. I don't know. And, okay, so...
Well, that said, though, I've watched you write shorthand.
Well, see, I learned that
reporting.
after I got the job.
Because it's like Swahili to me. Like,
It's
tell us,
honestly-
what is shorthand? What does that even mean?
It's written with a smaller hand than usual.
Or a shorter
one.
than
No,
usual?
it's so easy. It's actually, it's not the Pitman shorthand that everybody learnt in the 60s, which involved a lead pencil and how hard you pressed and everything. It's really not hard.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
That's a thing. They were hardcore back then. They just, back in the day, people just wanted to make stuff difficult. I learnt T-line. And so what it basically is, it was developed, I think, by, this could be completely wrong, but bear with me. It was developed by a professor who made it like the alphabet. So it's A, B, C. So it sort of resembles the letters. But the good thing about it is those particular things can also represent a word. So, B can be either a B, a sound of a B, or it can be a B-E. So I will be going to blah, blah, blah. It can just be like a W, so is like that. So if you join it up to a B, it's will be.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah, that's very quick.
Yeah, because when I watch you do like reporting in like shorthand, it just looked like Sanskrit.
It used to be, and I have noticed that this has changed, and I don't know what the rules are around this, but it used to be that you weren't allowed to have any like electronic devices in courtrooms or anything. So
because they had a fear of like recording.
well, yeah, it's just not allowed. So you'd turn up and you'd have to do your shorthand.
Yeah, because they don't do the photographs in court. Like it's always
No, not in Australia.
It's always done by an artist that
In America, that's right.
Yeah.
So in America, you'll have things televised. There are certain judgments in Australia that will be recorded.
Well, there's things that require, yeah. Well, I suppose like even,
but not everything.
Well, recent famous court cases, like if you look at Pell, for instance,
Huge interest.
yeah, but a massive interest, and they were live streaming those proceedings.
See, that's it.
But they didn't live stream the proceedings of the court case itself.
No, I think what they do is they will, and I'm not sure in Pell's case because I didn't see it, but they will actually live stream judge's reasons, so the sentencing. So
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So the judge's comments, and they won't do something that hasn't been decided yet.
Yeah.
So that's the main thing, because it's in the interest of
they don't do things. They don't do
and-
things that are in the balance.
That's right. So, I mean, it's particularly if you have a jury, and you have people watching, although America does it. So, and I don't know what their laws are over there, but certainly over here it's a lot different.
Yeah. Well, I can understand why and why not. Like, there's
arguments. Yeah, that's it. There's arguments for to and fro, like you say, and particularly stuff that's going to be, you can't televise something where the jury has been sent out of the room or, something along those lines.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it used to be that you had to sit there and record everything. And now, I mean, I've been in courtrooms now where you'll have the young journos typing away on laptops.
Yeah, because I've been there for that as well, watching journos type on laptops.
I don't know how anyone does it. I just, maybe because I'm old school and I do the shorthand.
Touch typing. Misty's a touch typer.
Oh, they are unbelievable.
She will actually be typing. Go. So, what else do you want to say?
How can you?
You're like,
how can you do
you're
that?
having a conversation with me while you've just written the last. Like, that's insane.
Yeah, it is insane.
That's insane.
Completely insane.
But so that shorthand evolved out of these sort of requirements.
That's it. And it used to be that you would need to. So you would start as a cadet, and if you hadn't been to university, you'd be a first year cadet, and you need to go first, second, third year, and then you need to do a certain amount of study and you needed to have a certain amount of shorthand before you could actually be a graded journalist. So that's I went through. I was a third year cadet because I came straight out of university.
Oh, so you had a bit of sort of like prior learning recognition.
Yeah, the prior learning recognition.
Well, that's what they call it now. They go, yeah, you've got a bit of stature and that, so we get
that's it. So you get a higher pay rate. But it's got to be said, I mean, I again, I'm not sure what the pay rates were, but honestly, it was like living below the poverty line. It was...
Oh, fuck. But isn't it that way, though? Like, it was like
$18,000.
Yeah.
It was so bad, and I was just like, you're giving up your entire week for $18,000, and you're like, well, do I eat this week, or do I just skip it,
Well, for me, I've been bouncing in and out of the media industry, right? So you get a job, and then it lasts this long, and then you get another job, and you go,
hard with contracts.
Yeah. You get these contracts here and there, and then you go fall back on my previous qualifications, earn some 9 to 5, then go back into my creative projects, try and launch some other projects. It's just to and fro, and sometimes you just got to roll some dice,
You do, and I think too, when you're on contracts and you've got your own business like that, like, you have to sell yourself. You have to go out there and you have to sell yourself, and that is hard.
And there's no union for you.
No, there's not. Like and well, as a journalist, there is. The MEAA does represent freelance journalists.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing, I mean, I worked overseas for a certain amount of time, and the biggest thing I found as a freelance journalist working is just getting people to pay.
Yeah, chasing invoice, man.
Please pay me. Don't wait 90 days.
It's one of the most, that 90-day wait, because you go, man, I just worked for you, and I'm living hand to mouth here, and we made a deal, and now you're going to fall back on legislation and not pay me for 90 days.
And particularly
if
you've
frustrating.
Put in, you've put in
hard
mileage, you've put in your time, you've put in a lot of research.
You've spent money on earning that money.
That's right. It costs you money to work for people. And, sometimes the rewards at the end might not be what you want. So that the MEAA does step in, so that's Media, Entertainment and Arts Alliance, does step in and represent freelance journalists.
Yeah, I reckon out of if I had 100 invoices to collect, 3 of them I haven't collected, 30 of them have been a pain in the arse.
And you really have to chase. And then again, that's
20
more
of them
time.
have been moderately annoying.
Yeah.
And maybe 30 of them like, thanks, man.
Yeah, thank you for paying on time.
Thank you for paying on time.
Yeah.
As I say, I want to give that contrast. I think that contrast is important. I don't want to bring like a total, negative demeanour to doing that work, but you got to understand that it exists.
That's right, and that's the thing. Like, and I think the time that you spend chasing that money is more time that really add it to the bill. Because you don't have to sit there and make the calls.
Yeah, now I've got to do it.
Now,
actually, I do, Krystyna. I do. I call it the FA fee. I actually got this from Misty. FA fee, mate.
FA.
Yeah, fuck around fee.
Nice.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing, and that should be,
and they go,
it's
what's
like
that?
a GST.
And if they ask you the question, tell them.
Well, yeah. What's
this FA fee? It's the fuck around fee.
That's it.
You fuck me around.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I could have been getting on with my life and spending the money that I earned, on my rent.
I must say the baby boomers are the worst.
Oh, really?
Yeah. No. Like I have a myriad of clients, like different ages. I'd say, actually, the millennials are the best.
Yeah.
They've paid me up front.
Yeah.
Bang, this is what I want. This is what you quoted me. This is what we're cool with. And I don't know if that's a contrast of age where you go, if you're a bit...
It's just the baby boomers have a lot to answer for. You guys, you have a lot to answer
for. I just don't know. Like, is it an age
It's a joke, by the way.
Yeah, it's a joke.
Yeah,
it's
can't get over yourselves, all right?
Settle down.
Honestly. We're going to have a go at the millennials. We know they all eat avocado, okay?
Greta's out there. Go and attack her.
Yeah, exactly. Just go get triggered by Greta.
She's fucking your shit
up. That's
right.
What's happening. She's fucking your shit up.
The truth. Get it away from me.
Exactly.
Oh, look, but we can make it better. Like, I know to really digress, I'm about to go into a rabbit hole.
Okay.
To really digress, we've had so many challenges through human history, whether it's the Black Plague, World War I, World War II, but then having...
Well, we really have gone off on a tangent. Just let's park this for a minute. That's a tangent. Keep going.
Okay, but this is a tangent. But I think it's an important tangent, right?
Okay.
If we look at, the climate crisis, it's not just a problem. It's also an opportunity. It's an opportunity. If we can start to figure out how to manage these things.
Get into sunscreen.
Yeah.
Invest in sunscreen.
Yeah, totally.
Okay. Tents, sunscreen, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Sun stuff. Hats.
Hats.
Hats are going to be big.
Actually, I did a job for the Cancer Council.
Oh, yeah.
And they paid me in sunscreen and hats. Shit you not.
Keep that shit. Because is going to be like gold.
Yeah, no, one of the hats when I occasionally play golf, I take that hat with me.
You play golf?
I do.
Oh, that's so Trump-esque.
Well, Misty and I play golf. We're the most left-wing golfers you've ever met in your life.
I was going to say, that's really quite out there.
Misty's very good at golf.
I can imagine. But see, Misty's good at everything.
Yeah, I know.
Her and her hair.
Yeah. It's not aerodynamic. If it was aerodynamic. No.
I bet it is. I bet it is, even when it's zhuzhed and she just gets out of the shower and tosses her hair like that.
I reckon we could sail around the world on that hair. It's fantastic.
Love to do that. Yeah, so you both play golf?
Yeah, totally play golf.
Have you got a handicap?
I don't have a handicap, but we do average.
Okay,
is a good way to put it.
Average is good though, because lots of golfers are just...
Golf is fucking hard, man. It's fucking hard.
Small ball, small stick, small hole.
Yeah.
Big area to hit it around.
That's right. Well, I did see a cool meme once, and it showed the levels of management. So it was executive golf ball, manager tennis ball.
Yeah, nice.
Supervisor.
Yeah.
Soccer ball and blue collar worker football. You're like,
that's...
and they go, smaller the ball,
the
less responsibility.
Well, see, because you got more time on your hand.
Yeah, that's it. You can focus on those things because to play golf, man, you got to dedicate some time.
And golf is one of those sports too where it just seems to be that you're allowed to go, oh man, I was so good. I was so fucking good today. Like, I hit that ball fucking, that was great.
Yeah, but then
there's a whole other thing.
Yeah, there's a whole other spectrum.
Oh my God, it was so bad. I could not get a hold of anything today. I can't do it. And it's just...
I lost my shit. I wrapped my club around a tree. I fucking lost it.
And never ask a golfer about their game because they'll tell you. Like... hole by hole, and there's like, I mean, 1,000 holes or something in a game of golf. What is it? 36, 84?
18 for a full game.
Or whatever, yeah. And it just seems like 84 to people listening.
Yeah, well, people get bored by golf, but
golf is not a spectator sport.
Well, it is though. It is like, 'cause I nerd out. I nerd out on this shit. If you put any sport on TV, mate, I'll fucking watch it. It will be on, and I'll watch it.
You watch sport?
Anything.
Do you?
Darts, curling. It doesn't matter. Synchronized swimming. Don't give a fuck. Totally watch anything. I will.
Really?
Can't get enough of sport, man. Like,
what about Misty? Does she watch a lot of
hates sport?
Yeah.
Doesn't like. Oh, why are you watching this for? Like, well,
because it's a guy with a ball.
Yeah. Well, look,
or a person with a ball.
The cool thing about football is there's a bunch of millionaires passing around a bag of air, and
yes,
and that's fine.
Look, I don't.
But I like to care where that bag of air goes.
Yes, lots of people do. What would your favourite sport be to watch?
That's a difficult one. I must say I like the NRL. I'm a big fan of the NRL.
Okay, so you are...
Watch AFL though as well.
So are you... Which team do you follow in both of
Another
those?
big question. I've been in fights over this.
All right. Well, I mean, I'm willing to glass you.
Let's get surly on this shit.
Yeah, I mean, we're both from Western Sydney. We know how it goes.
I grew up in Campbelltown, so I used to go for Wests, right? So then they merged with Tigers.
Yes.
So then I go for Tigers.
Tigers.
But I lived in Townsville for...
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. And then, you know, I had... I'd get free tickets at Dairy Farmers Stadium, and then you'd go out and watch the Cowboys play. Brisbane would show up, people would cheer for Brisbane, and then the Cowboys come out and people boo their home crowd. And you're like, and I'm like, stop booing! And like, my God, like, what are you gonna fucking do about it? I'm like, Jesus Christ, they shouldn't serve full beer here. I know I'm in Northern Queensland, but this has gotten out of hand.
People go Troppo up there, though.
Yeah, but fast forward 5 years later, I'm at the most electric game that I've ever heard in my life. Been to a few grand finals, been to a few state of origins, but the game at Dairy Farmers Stadium in 2004, I think it was, you could not hear yourself think.
Wow.
The entire 80
Love
minutes.
a good atmosphere.
Yeah, it was electric.
Yeah.
You know, it was so aggressively awesome. Like, it was so aggressively positive that a chant couldn't even run because everyone was so discombobulated, and it was just electric.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and they even moved that game because it was supposed to be in Brisbane, but they moved it to Townsville because the Cowboys had a shot at getting to the final. They got to the next round, but years after that, they won the grand final. You know, it was just... I watched that team go from being booed on the stage, and then you watch someone like JT.
Yes.
Go from this team that, you know, he got rejected from, I think it was Canterbury. Ended up on the worst team on the roster.
Yeah.
Taking that team with Matty Bowen, Carl Webb, and others to get the premiership and be the most leading Queensland player of all fucking time.
Okay,
you know?
so question.
So yes, I do like the NRL.
Yes, you like the Cowboys, but question: who do you support state of origin?
New South Wales.
Okay. Good.
It's
because otherwise, we would have had to have actually paused the podcast for a fight.
Some of my favourite players were in Queensland for a long time, but I was born I was born in New South Wales. I can't.
You can't
differentiate between those. And don't get me wrong, I've been close to being a turncoat and going, you know, I lived 5 years in Queensland.
Yeah,
I can go across there.
But I mean, you are only 21 or so.
28, yeah.
28,
no,
sorry.
I'm 50 actually.
Yeah, oh, that's right.
Yeah,
65. Yeah, well, I mean, 60 of those years you lived in New South Wales.
I don't even grow sideburns.
Yeah.
No one ever notices that.
Very clean shaven.
No, but I don't grow...
Well, not here.
But only there. I only grow hair there.
I've just knocked that microphone again.
Yeah, I do it all the time.
I know, well, it's you know yourself. I mean, you talk like this. I talk like this.
Yeah,
it's hard.
Yeah, well, what's your heritage though? Like I'm wearing an Irish shirt today. So
I did say so. I lived in Ireland for 7 years.
Were you journo over there, boy?
I was.
What was that like?
It was okay. So what's hard about Ireland, being a journo, when you are not Irish and you really don't have, you know, Irish. So my heritage is Polish. I've got the citizenship and all that kind of thing, and hence the funny first name that no one can spell.
Crystal or something like that.
Christian.
Christian.
I was actually telling Nath before. I've had Christian before. People call me all sorts of things. Christine, Christy. Katrina.
So the origins of the spelling of your name, Krystyna.
Krystyna. Yeah. It's Polish.
I
It's
think
common as muck over there.
I've spelt that wrong on my phone.
I don't know anybody who spells it right in their phone.
I say it right, though.
No, you do. Right. That's right. It's not a hard word to say. It's just the spelling is a little bit off. So my heritage is Polish, but I went over for a working holiday in Ireland and ended up staying over there for 7 years. So
that's a long holiday.
It was a great holiday. No, well, I got my Polish citizenship, so obviously I could live over there.
So that was tied with the EU, is that?
Yeah, so Poland's part of the EU, and, obviously so's Ireland.
So you can have that extended stay. That's really cool.
That's right. So, and then you can also work over there. So I worked for several media companies over there. Yeah. I edited a newspaper. I was a journalist at another newspaper. I did some freelance stuff as well. Worked for a company.
Well, you have to do the freelance stuff because the mainstream stuff doesn't pay you enough. So
there was sort of a time where I was sort of over there and sort of didn't have sort of the right documentation, so I had to kind of do stuff. You got to do stuff. So I did work for
a Polish boat person in Ireland. Who would have funked it?
I know. It's part of the rich tapestry of life, really. So
absolutely,
yeah. So
totally,
it was good. It's a great place to go. Definitely, if you want to go to Ireland, visit Ireland. Great place, great people. Had a good time. Yeah. Got a bit more experience working over there, and then the global financial crisis hit them pretty hard.
Yeah, totally. Their elites screwed them over.
Really, and well, they had the Celtic Tiger thing kind of crumbled, and it all went to shit basically. Ended up coming back here and then working back over here.
Yeah.
But yeah, great time. If seriously, if you can go overseas and work, go overseas and work. You know yourself. Yeah. You've been overseas for however long you were overseas for.
Yeah, a couple of years.
Yeah. So, it's got to be done. It really adds to your life.
The global financial crisis actually changed the trajectory of where I was going, because I got out of the military with the intention of going into the mining industry.
Oh, really?
The worst year in this century to do that is 2008.
Yes, that's exactly right. And this is where I got my job as an editor, as a journalist, was in a company that had opened, I think, 13 new titles in end of 2007, beginning of 2008. Oh, you mean
like banner heads? Like the new banners?
New mastheads. So they had this massive expansion across Ireland, and then, of course, within a year, kind of went,
Yeah, never learned the technological move as well. That's like,
it was bad timing. It was particularly bad timing, and it came off the back of everybody having so much money over there. There were acres of land going for squillions of euro.
Yeah.
Because of the boom in building and all that kind of thing, and all of a sudden everything just dropped out. Well, I mean, the town near where I lived, when the pubs started closing.
Oh, and then you got a problem in Ireland. If the fucking
when the pub
pubs are
closes,
closing,
that's right. You have a massive problem on your hands. So, and that's unfortunately what happened.
It's an important lesson to learn. I think if you take value away from that, you had that run in Ireland for 7 years, but to see that transition,
huge.
And to see that transition as well from, digital media and how that's affected journalism.
It's honestly, journalism has changed so much since I've been in the industry. It's crazy.
Well, look, to go into a wormhole, another wormhole. We're just
loving the wormholes.
Shout out to wormholes.
Shout out to the worms. Go to worms.
Yeah, I'm not a real doctor, but I am a real worm. Personal joke out there. You know who you are.
I don't even want to ask about.
No, you don't.
Okay.
His name is it's to do with worm, and he's a doctor. He's like Dr. Worm, and he's like, the song?
Yeah, I know the song.
I'm not a real doctor, but I'm a real worm. And I go after him, I go, you are a real doctor, but you're not a real worm. I can't help myself. You see something like that, you have to point it out.
Let's go back to the wormhole.
Yeah. Well, no, I was going. Yes, that's right. So, looking at journalism from the fall of the financial crisis, the global financial crisis, which Australia did okay out of.
Oh, look, I came back here and everyone was like, "Oh, we just had the worst recession." Oh, recession. Oh, dreadful, dreadful. You know, I'm like,
You had no idea.
Yeah.
I'd never seen so many cranes in the city. Like, there's so many cranes going up, right?
And
so
you know
construction
what?
was booming.
The biggest tragedy.
So it was totally a falsehood in our country.
The biggest tragedy over here was that I was living overseas when that $900 bonus thing was given out. Everyone just got free money.
Yeah, I remember that.
Remember the stimulus package?
Yeah.
I was living overseas, wasn't I? I missed out on $900. Government, I kind of feel you owe me $900.
They owe us more than that because our ship got sunk, but I don't want to go back into that.
I just want my $900. Just $900.
We can do it. We can work it out.
Go fund me.
But look, no, to get back to my wormhole.
Sorry, okay, wormhole.
Back to my wormhole.
Go.
Looking at journalism and the rise of Facebook, the rise of Instagram, the rise of populist politics.
Yes.
Because if you guys are out there and you're listening to this, there's certain pillars to democracy. And one of those pillars is the Fourth Estate. And the Fourth Estate is reporting on democracy, right?
And that's
because the cool thing is when I was working with you, you're such an honest and cool journalist, man. Like, we would go and do a ribbon-cutting event and you'd still ask the hard-ass questions, right?
I don't... Look, it's really... Look, I love... okay, so... I was a political journalist. I did my thing. That's what I wanted to do when I first got into journalism. I wanted to be a political journalist. I want to go in there. I want to do that. This is fantastic, you know. And I think working at Australian Associated Press is a fantastic organisation to work for. You get to do a little bit of everything. And I was very fortunate to be given a really good opportunity to go. I worked in state parliament. Fabulous. Loved it. Loved every minute of it. But after you do it, you kind of realise that politics is a little bubble. And everybody who's in it is in this little bubble.
It's a feed loop.
And it is. And you kind of... I got disillusioned with it, to be honest. Because...
You do get caught up in it, right?
You get really caught up in it. And I think what did it for me was there was a... And this was years ago, so I won't mention who it was, but...
No, probably not a good idea.
But there was a lot of talk of electric vehicles and all this kind of thing. And I mean, we're talking... This was over, 18 years ago.
Wow, so they're like, they've moved from, as they would say at the time, electric vehicles are really gay and you need to be heterosexual and driving petrol, and you're like,
well, this was
why are we putting those two things together?
We were talking about all this, and they were trying to get people interested in it and whatever. And one of the staffers, one of the questions from one of my friends at the time was, well, how much do these things cost?
Yeah.
And back then it was around about, I think it was something like $70,000, and they were trying to convince us that the staff would turn around and it's only $70,000, and you're trying to sell this to somebody who's got a mortgage, 2 kids. That did it for me that day. I was just like, wow. I can hardly afford my rent, and I live in a 1-bedroom place with no kids. And, you're talking about people who were, at the time probably on about 20 grand a year. It was really, I don't know, it just was one of those moments in my life where you just kind of go, wow, this is what I'm living. So what you're
saying, at that time and space where they're trying to push this agenda...
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I'm for Tesla and
and it wasn't about that. It was about the fact
you're talking about a different time.
Yeah, completely different time, and it wasn't about the electric vehicle or the car or whatever. It was about the fact that everybody in politics lived in this little bubble where they're all on really good wages, and it just seems so unreal to me that someone would just go, it's only $60,000, it's only $70,000. And you're just like, well, actually, that's a lot of money.
Jay, just pull that mic over to you about there. I realise that it's in front of you. You want to get it under you. I'm going to get the shot right. There we go.
How's that?
It's way better.
I'm glad we worked that out after the first 30 minutes.
No. Oh, no. It's just that because we've had a few more beers and we're...
yes, and also I'm really conscious. That's why the beer has gone in this hand.
Yeah.
So that I don't
so
punch it over to you.
You just need you just need to calm down with that beer, mate. You just need to calm right down. Mate.
People are going to call you Siggy Butt Brain.
They probably already do.
You got me into that as well.
I did. I've gotten you into a lot of things.
It's very, very funny.
Do you remember Charlie Unicorn back in the day?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
See? Great stuff.
Yeah.
We were talking about something really serious.
No, we
just
were.
Then.
No, but we're talking about like the effect of the fourth estate.
Yes, that's right, and it's very important.
And the changing point where you've gone electric cars to this
Yes.
idea, and you guys are living in this space, and you
and
expect
it's all a bubble. And I
this
I
is $70,000,
Yeah.
and these guys only have $10,000,
That's it.
and you want them to invest in this.
And that's
Why?
it. That's it. And this is the thing. And then the second time was, and this is when I sort of got out of it, and which is why I went back to local news reporting, is because something was happening in state parliament. I don't know. Looking back on it, it wasn't that important. I thought it was everything. Like, I thought it was everything. It's this big, big story.
Battle stations.
Massive,
this is it.
We've got to do this. And I remember my bureau chief at the time saying, "Oh yeah, but who's that tennis player that got married to that home and away chick?"
Yeah, but the same.
They got married, and then she's like, "Oh look, I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
they're getting married." I'm like, "You have got to be."
But the
kidding
same thing is transcribed now. Like what you're talking about is clickbait.
Yeah, and this is the problem. And I actually saw a thing on Media Watch the other night that one of
Still
the
watching Media Watch.
love Media Watch.
I love Media Watch.
I know. I just don't
Love
want to
you
be on
guys.
it. I don't want to be on it.
No, well, to digress, we'll come back.
Go, digress.
I digress.
Digress.
When I was doing the news with Krystyna, right, I always said to her, we need to fuck up a story. She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, we need to fuck up a story badly.
At that point, I started twitching and
She's
going,
like, what do you mean? What do you mean? I'm like,
No, we really don't.
If we fuck up a story so bad,
Yeah, see, this
Media Watch will pick us up and we'll get some free publicity on national
and
television.
the thing with journalism is all publicity is not good publicity.
Yeah, I know, but as a producer, you go, that's a good fucking plan, man.
I thought it, for the record, I thought it was a terrible plan.
She shut it down
Yeah,
immediately.
I shut it down. I shut that shit down.
Yeah.
It just got shut down. So, yeah.
She was looking at like quality and truth, and I was looking at how do we increase our market share.
But you know that I think News Limited is the one who there was a report on Media Watch the other day that
Yeah, because you're watching Media Watch the other day.
I was watching Media Watch the other day, and they had a story about journalists being encouraged to get more clicks. So
Yeah, I remember.
You know,
this is about 2 episodes ago. I remember this.
yeah, and it I find it concerning in that, okay, there's 2 arguments for it. I mean, basically, you know, you want to give people what they want to read. Of course you do.
Yeah,
you know, people are interested in...
It is entertainment. It is a form of entertainment.
See, that's the thing. So then, you know, do we then prioritise stories that are just going to get lots and lots and lots of clicks
Yeah.
and be of very little substance, you know, a recap of My Kitchen Rules or something.
Or what happened on Home and Away. you
Yeah,
know,
what happened on
that's
Home and
what
Away,
it is.
like a recap of
Yeah.
something. Which I've got to say, there are some quality ones out there. James Weir is a really good example. He does fantastic
but it's the
recaps.
entertainment
Very
section.
funny.
It belongs with the weather and
Yeah, but he
and-
writes
and-
his
and the
with humour as
economic
well. He's very
report.
clever. And,
It's the tail.
Yeah.
It's the tail. It's not the front end news.
but it also...
It's not the headliner.
You know, I can point to a story that I did when I used to work at one paper, and it was basically I went out to a location where Home and Away, funnily enough, were filming. I wasn't allowed anywhere near where they were filming, so I took a picture with my phone of a ute in the distance and went, "Oh, Home and Away is filming here right now." It went off on Facebook. I mean, it was by far one of the biggest things.
People love that behind the scenes shit, man. The exclusive.
But did I put any effort into it? No. Was it an analysis of anything? No. Did it mean anything? No. And it really just, you know, I think there's a certain balance that you've got to find between what people like to read and really what we should be considering important. And it's just the way that, you know, the social media has changed the way people they consume the news. There's still a huge appetite for news, a massive appetite for news, and particularly local news. I mean, if you go onto Facebook pages,
Totally, man. People,
and you have your I mean,
local
we've got-
community groups, right?
Oh yeah, and people are like, there is the street that I live on. Now I'm not on this group because I just refuse to have anything to do with it. But my neighbour tells me
it comes
about
back
it.
to that shorthand. I ain't getting no computer.
I ain't getting it. That pretty much. And but honestly, being in media has ruined my social media experience because it's terrible. But my neighbour tells me that there's people complaining about these 2 cats in my street, and the complaint that somebody put in was the cats are drinking out of their pool. Like, is that a complaint? So, I mean, and this is really well read.
Oh, I don't think they're
Everybody jumps
well-raised
in.
cats. Like, who raises their cat to drink out of a pool? That is the headline.
The headline.
The headline belongs to the owner.
The story is
It's not the cat's fault.
How much are these cats drinking?
Yeah.
How much are these fucking
And how much are they affecting the drought?
cats affect the drought? Exactly.
Headlines,
Two
mate.
Cats, that's right.
Headlines.
Exactly. So what we did was we organised a posse and went after them with pitchforks. And, yeah, that was also really big on Facebook.
Yeah. Got a lot of hits.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
But look, it's to have that clickbait. Don't get me wrong. That the news has an entertainment arm, but it also has, and this is what I think we're forgetting, it also has an obligation to the Fourth Estate. It has an obligation to report on what's actually happening.
And I think it's more important now than ever, as you said, is truth. So basically what social media also has done is to just you can put anything up there. You can put anything up there and it gets repeated as truth. And the thing is...
It gets spun and spun over again.
Not even. I mean, you can just put something up there that says, there was... Okay, good example was that people were denying that climate change was climate change and they were saying that it was caused by solar flares from the sun. That has been...
It's totally debunked.
Completely debunked. There are still people repeating this and repeating this.
No, but to say that 98% of scientists are unanimous on climate change is severely inaccurate. It's way more than that. It's more like 99.999% of scientists. But you got to understand, I put this... If you want to talk about climate change, I'll put it in real easy human speak for people. If they want this, I'll give it to them, right?
You give it
Deal
to
with
them.
it,
Go.
okay? Deal with it. Coal, oil, is it's sunlight that's being captured through photosynthesis, right? So it's photons hitting trees that die and fall over and get compressed over time. It is oil it's algae in the ocean that is photosynthesizing, taking photonic energy that dies and sinks to the bottom of the ocean, gets subducted in the earth, forms oil wells. That process takes millions of years.
Long time.
Yeah, out of 300 million years of this process happening, it's estimated that we've burned 100 million years of sunlight. And we've done that in less than 100 years. My question is, by burning 100 million years of sunlight in 100 years of releasing that energy, is there an effect? Is it a positive or negative effect? I don't know. But I just ask a logical question. By taking this energy that's been stored over a long period of time and releasing it in a shorter period of time, cosmologically would show on a graph as an explosion.
Well, it's,
you know what I mean? You get what I'm saying?
No, I do. I get what you're saying.
Is there an effect?
What I'm saying is whether you believe that there's an effect or whether you don't believe there is. And personally, yes, I have talked to scientists. I've interviewed a scientist once before for TV, and the camera guy was off doing B-roll. Yeah. So he's off filming stuff.
That's what we do. We film the talent, we go do B-roll.
Yeah. And the producer stands there and goes, "So, what are you doing today?" And makes really awkward conversation with the talent while we're waiting
lunch
for
break, forget it.
So he was off doing that, and I made some, jokey comment to the scientist, the climate scientist, about, so how about this climate change, huh? And he literally wouldn't talk to me. He said, "Is this mic on?"
Well,
he
because he's worried about
his
his reputation.
Well, he's worried about his funding. He's worried about his research funding
and where that
was going. The state of the government at the time,
and
exactly.
economically minded.
That's right.
Yeah.
So this guy was too afraid to just
fucking
have a chat. Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like this. Because
he knows he's mic'd up and he's educated enough to understand it.
That's right.
Oh, wow.
So, and he was truly worried.
Blown away.
Yeah, he was. I mean, this guy's a professor. He's not just some guy.
Yeah. He didn't get to his position by being.
No, he's not. He's not Krystyna Pollard, who turns up.
He's not Ross Page that shows up. Oh, they just sit in front of my mic. We'll have some beers and we'll talk some shit.
He didn't turn up to his course once a week. You know what I mean? He was there a lot.
Yeah.
You know, and then went and did other courses
Clearly.
too. You know, did
I'm
whatever.
glad
you
there's
have to-
people like that
Professor
out there.
people.
Yeah,
you
I'm
know,
glad they're out there.
smart people. But you know, and this is why, again, coming back to social media and how this changes the landscape in terms of
Well, the media
truth.
scape, if you will.
Mediascape, the whole lot though. But it changes. You know, it goes back to the fourth estate, like keeping the bastards honest. To be honest with you,
famous quote, famous quote, and it's
That's what we're
fucking
there
valid,
for.
man. It's fucking valid.
Because people on social media can say whatever. They can hide behind pages. You know,
Everyone's a keyboard warrior.
and this is what is
They are, or
so
potential keyboard warrior. I don't want to put it because I go. That's what I'm talking about. You say a comment, and now I've got to justify.
Exactly. That's
that
why you
comment.
say, you know, baby boomers. Just a joke.
Just a joke. It's just a joke. I'm not saying that all people behind a keyboard are a warrior that aren't brave. I'm not saying that, but
Yeah.
I'm saying that there's some people out there that hide behind a keyboard, and if you were in a pub, they would not say that to you.
And this is the thing.
That's what I'm saying.
I find a lot. It's you know, just don't read the comments. Don't read the comments.
I have to because I've got to police my fucking.
Well, so do we.
channels.
And this is the thing. And you know, because of the recent court ruling as well, which, you know, we all already knew basically anyway. But if you have somebody that comments on, as a media organisation, you've put a story up and people comment on that story, you're held liable for their comments.
That's an insane law, though.
Well, I mean, it's the law not keeping up with the times.
Yeah,
is
it's
or not.
They've caught up a little bit, but not understanding the conversation.
But see, this is the thing. I mean, they
Now
say,
you need
all
to
right,
employ
well,
someone to manage those
exactly.
comments.
That's right. That's right.
That's an expense.
It's an expense, and it's a 24/7 thing. Because
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't stop.
That's right.
Doesn't
Because
stop. It's
people,
global.
and I know for a fact,
Wow,
I
you
mean,
just blow my mind.
people wait until, and I mean, working in the media, I know this. People wait until they think the page isn't being monitored, and they jump on and start having a go at each other.
Yeah, the ones that are really dedicated.
The rabid ones.
Yeah, the ones that are dedicated.
And it gets nasty. And these people are not. They don't.
Nasty. Nasty's a polite way to say it. Like
Yeah.
you've done in your profession. You would have dealt with the same thing. You deal with
All
some
the time.
Yeah, and you deal with these vicious.
And they're
kind
recidivist
of vernacular.
offenders. Yeah. They're not just one they're like a small handful of people. And what they do is they actually stifle democracy because ordinary people who'd like to say something about the story or who'd like to put in their 5 cents worth, which is their right, they kind of go, oh, well, I'm not going to say anything because they might jump on me, and it all sounds really nasty.
I'm now in a bullied schoolyard.
That's
and I'm
right,
worried
and
about,
I'm going to keep quiet.
I'm worried about someone nicking my lunch, man. So
Yeah,
I'll just stay quiet over here.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
that's another way.
I have a block policy. If you start fucking up on my sites, man, I just fucking block you.
Oh well, that's it, and that's what we do.
Yeah, but the thing is, you don't want to stifle constructive criticism. Because if you're trying to do something that's advancing society in a positive light,
Stick to the issue.
yeah,
Don't personally go after someone. Start calling them names.
Yeah,
Start swearing at them. Start saying things about their family.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, I mean, there has been. I can give you shocking examples of what people have said.
I've read them.
to say,
You've probably done worse than I have.
oh,
really.
look, we see everything.
Yeah.
Like honestly, I didn't know that there were people like this out there. I really didn't. I thought that social media was just for people who, you know, you like to look. Okay,
It's a voice for the voiceless.
I like to look at dogs and cats. You know, and I go, oh, look at that cute thing. But there's
Tick-like.
lots of, but yeah, like if I don't like something, I go and scroll past it.
And you move on, right? You
move on. I don't start fights with people online.
But I guess the way I've psychoanalyzed this, I've really thought about this, and I've talked about it many times on the show about how people have this vernacular out online because they wouldn't. If you were in a pub, you wouldn't say that
Because there's people there
what
who
would
are going
happen
to
if
go,
you got to say, "Oh, you got a problem with that?"
Yeah.
Well, this is what I think of this person and that, and you.
and you particularly wouldn't call them things like, and this is actual true examples, pedophile.
yeah.
You're a pedophile.
Yeah, you're a fucking pedophile.
That's it.
Yeah.
You wouldn't say that because the chances of you getting out of there without a smashed up nose,
Yeah.
they're not real good.
Absolutely, and they're saying like they'll insult your mother, they'll insult
Yeah.
your parents, where you come from, and look, I stand from a point where I'm a white dude, and I suffer these problems. I can't imagine being like a black dude or
Oh, absolutely.
a person of color of any kind, because they're getting it way worse than what I'm getting. If I'm getting it bad,
Yeah, that's right.
what are they fucking getting?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And you think about that. And yeah, there's certain corners that I guess, well, the way again, I had this forgiveness in me, and I go, something is missing out of their life where they need to feel to act that way in that space.
Very insecure, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, and also...
But is it fueled by media as well? Like, because I've watched this fueled by media.
Could be. I mean, I don't know what it's fueled by, to be honest. It's just that it's this new platform for people who previously maybe wouldn't have had the audience that they now have now got it. You can get out there, you can say all sorts of stuff. But it's also a question of, and I've had this discussion with many people actually, is the question of freedom of speech. So, we all have the right to freedom of speech. We all have that right. But my personal opinion is, and this is just me, so don't be, don't get online.
Put your comments below. Krystyna's about to go off.
Don't tweet. Don't do anything, because I'm going to delete you.
No, we'll block you.
Or block. Or, whatever.
I'll read all your shit and realise how twisted you are before I do so, but, we're going to block you.
Yeah, we'll stalk you real good first.
Stalk you back.
But no, I just think that with every, with the freedom of speech, the right to the freedom of speech comes a responsibility not to hurt other people.
Yeah, and there's a lot of evidence of that.
And that's it. It's like, okay, you have every right to be a bigot. I can't help what you think. Like, go ahead and think it. That's fine, but don't incite hatred.
Yeah, don't put that meat on my table.
That's right.
Because we got friends.
What you're doing is hurting people.
You're hurting people, right?
And that's not on.
And comes power, comes responsibility.
Exactly.
Right.
That's
and
right.
You got to take responsibility.
You guys have all this new power with social media.
Yeah. So deal with it.
You have the whole world.
You've got your own newspaper with Facebook. Yeah. You've got your own photo sharing platform with Instagram. You've got your own TV channel with YouTube.
Absolutely.
Treat it with respect. Understand, and don't get me wrong, you got to forgive humanity in a way, because we're canaries in the coal mine,
and we all make mistakes.
Yeah, and I think we're going through this evolution. But I just put this message out there to the trolls and the people that make horrible comments online.
Get a life.
Sort it out, man. Like, maybe
I think they need to look at why do they do it.
No, but maybe you need to be heard in a different way. Perhaps you're not thinking that you're being heard, but if you change your perspective and understand that maybe that you've got things around you that are making you angry, and maybe if you look at, well, who else is like me, and perhaps you need self-reflection, I guess. I'm not entirely sure. I don't have the answers to it, but I guess, I just think, and I take the Jim Jeffries perspective here, I just think we can do better. I really do. And I take the Bill Hicks perspective as well. We're on a ride, as it's ups and it's downs.
That's right.
We're on this ride together, and I think perhaps we can improve things. If you're pissed off with the baby boomers,
which I am not necessarily. I don't want to, come on.
I don't want to come across that way, because you understand that the technology that we're enjoying right now came from the baby boomers. They delivered this world to us.
Look, my own father is a baby boomer, and
so my parents.
Exactly, they're baby boomers, and they're okay.
But if you're pissed off about it, how about you take what they've given us and leave it better than what you've got,
right.
rather than bitching about how it's bad. Let's make it better, because it can be better. We certainly have the intellect and the power to do so. We're the only brain in the universe that we know of that can study itself.
And to be honest, I think it's a bit dumb generation blaming as well. Like blaming a generation, is as dumb as blaming millennials for something. I don't know what people have against millennials.
It's avocado.
I love avocado.
Yeah, I know, but I love avocado too. But you're Generation X /
X.
Yeah. I'm on the border of X. You're on the border of X and millennial.
No.
No,
I'm way X. I'm X.
But I thought you were 28. What's going on?
Oh yeah, well, no, I'm 75.
Well, I'm 50.
Seriously, I'm taking that on board.
It's
such a great.
It works really well. If you're in a pub, just go, I'm 50, and they go, you look amazing.
And you'll be like,
thank you.
Yeah.
I know.
I'm going to go over here and be.
I work out. I don't smoke. I don't drink, and
I only drink.
If I was to go to church, I would, but I don't. But I meditate on Sunday morning, and I drink. And I drink boiled water, and I eat avocado.
That's a thing, though. That is a thing.
I know.
I tried it for a while. I drank boiled water instead of coffee. I don't know what I was thinking. But I drank boiled water with a bit of lemon in it.
It's like heroin without the heroin.
It's like boiled water with a bit of lemon in it. It doesn't do the same. Heads up, it doesn't do
You're
the
trying
same
to
thing.
give a placebo to your brain. Go, this is not caffeine.
Yeah, let's
but
pretend it's hot.
It's hot and it's tasty.
It's not even.
But it ain't coffee,
Yeah, my brain
baby.
just comes back and goes,
Yeah.
A, no caffeine.
Yeah.
B, you're just drinking like hot. It feels like you're drinking bath water.
Yeah.
And C, lemon.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Is that caffeine?
Look, I may criticise, but I come from a position of understanding and putting myself through these things. So when I come from a critical mind, understand that I've walked this path and understood that.
Have you tried to like do a kind of like a detox?
It only ever lasts 2 days.
That's pretty good.
No, it's not.
I got to say, I'm thinking, I like do a morning of it and go, I'm so holy. I think I'll just,
If my body was a temple, it's full of graffiti and a whole bunch of trolleys that are full of fucking garbage that can't be recycled.
one of those garbage temples.
Yeah. It's a garbage temple with fucking bad graffiti. It's not even that good. It's just poor.
It'd be street art. It'd be street art.
It's not street art. It's frustration and
tags.
political statements that are written on the wall.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a burnt-out church that's been like, fist fucked into fucking danger.
You would just be like the Berlin Wall.
I don't know where you come up with that. It's a church that's been fist fucked into danger.
Into danger.
What does that mean? I don't know.
I
don't know.
It's honestly, your graffiti would be like the Berlin Wall.
Yeah.
It'd be cool. No,
yeah. Well, NATO needs to fucking take some action. That's what I've got to say.
Tourists would be attracted to it.
Yeah, everyone will buy a piece of it and they'll
They'd find out later it was full of asbestos.
Yeah, totally. I'm made of asbestos. There's no doubt about it.
You're fireproof.
Yeah, I'm fireproof, but I'll fucking kill you. It's just terrible. Look, again, we're in this political climate. It's totally a metaphor and a joke, people. Okay?
Yeah, it is. And we're not looking to spark any kind of...
Well, you can't have made of asbestos. Spark all you like.
Thermonuclear explosion, which you...
Small explosions. I was trying to find the scale of smaller explosions.
All I could think of was a...
I don't want to be
3, 5,
targeted by
7.
Kim Jong-un. Is it? Have I got that right?
Yeah.
You're the journo.
Yeah.
Have I got that right?
Yeah.
I
don't know whether
he's little rocket man.
I don't.
But Trump is like big rocket man. I just think
I don't think either of those world leaders would target you.
I think that their haircut is controlling their life.
Okay, that is an interesting thing because let's have a look at the current political state of the nation.
Oh shit! You've just opened a can of fucking wormhole.
No, in terms of haircuts.
Okay, yeah, I'm done.
Boris Johnson,
Oh gosh.
Trump, Kim Jong-un.
Oh yeah, and even Morrison, really, if you think about
Morrison's hair's okay.
it. Yeah.
It's okay. It's no Boris Johnson.
Yeah, but he's a fucking dork.
Look,
He's not an
he's a
orator.
dangy dad.
He's a PR guy that was given a little bit too much power to begin with.
But I'm interested
man.
in the hair.
How good is podcast? You know what I'm saying?
As a journalist, I'm completely impartial to Scott Morrison's hair.
Of course.
However, I can have an opinion about Kim Jong-un's, which I think is a little bit bowl cut.
Yeah. It is totally bulky.
I reckon he looked great with a mullet.
Yeah, I reckon he would. Yeah,
Come and live in Campbelltown and get yourself a mullet.
Oh, mate.
Mate.
Being from Scrambo Town.
Scrambo.
I can tell you.
Mate, I was born in Blacktown, mate.
Oh, fuck. You're a heavy hitter. Don't fuck with this lady.
Don't fuck with this lady.
But look, we've totally reached the end of our podcast.
Oh, no.
I know.
And on that serious note of world leaders'
don't fuck
haircuts,
with us. We'll fucking haircuts.
We-
World leaders, don't come into our fucking OG, yo. I've got nothing. I don't even know. What does that mean? Don't come into our original area, yo.
No,
Western Sydney will fuck you up.
Yeah,
well, no.
Thank you.
But it won't. Western Sydney
exactly.
won't fuck you up. We're
No.
doing some cool shit, man. We got some cool people doing some cool
But
things.
if we wanted to, we would fuck you up.
Yeah, if you want to make peace, you must prepare for war.
That's right. And also maybe get a mullet. Because honestly, okay, the last thing I want to say is I respect people with mullets because honestly, you guys just don't care. You are out there, you're doing
And
your
it's
thing.
even
More power
aerodynamic.
to
It's
you.
aerodynamic. It's business in the front and it's party in the back.
I want to do a reverse mullet.
I have a friend that's done that. And I've even had a friend that's done the reverse mohawk. Yeah, how your mohawk goes that way.
Yeah.
He grew one that way, grew these sideburns and his beard, done the reverse mohawk.
See, as a woman, I would love that.
Yeah. Well, he's.
I mean, I'd love to do it.
Well,
not
Simo, you know you're a ladies' magnet. You know that.
Simo, that's not what I meant. I meant I'd like to do that, but obviously
I've got a
with
few
facial
stories about
hairs-
Simo. I don't know if they're appropriate on air.
Don't say anything about Simo.
No. But look, I definitely need to bring it to an end. But while bringing it to an end, by bringing it to an end, I'd like to say that it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show, catching up with you after all these years, drinking beers at lunchtime and getting all kinds of mischief, trawling around town, getting news stories. Thank you so fucking much for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I have really enjoyed myself. It's been fantastic. Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much.
Okay.
All right, that's the end of the show. Let's fucking cut it there.